Ladies and gentlemen, again, back to you here from the tent. An incredible guest today, Steve Blank, the legendary, visionary, innovator, entrepreneur. Steve, I've looked at your bio and I've tried to figure out what is it that you haven't done. I know you talk about not having really been in business for some years, but you're constantly doing really cool things. So
this is what retirement looks like for a Type A entrepreneur.
I hope I look forward to it, so it should be fun. So welcome. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
Thanks for making time for joining us in the tent here. Tell us a little bit briefly, obviously people know who you are, but tell us a little bit briefly, how did you end up in this retirement and, along the way, 8 companies I think it is, and so some exciting things, but, give us a brief summary.
So I had multiple careers. First one is when I dropped out of college, I joined the military during Vietnam
Wow.
And I was in the U.S. Air Force for 4 years and a couple of years in Southeast Asia. And I came back through lots of happy accidents. I ended up in what was Silicon Valley in 1978 when no one outside the valley actually knew what was going on. Again, by accident. I'd love to tell you how smart I was. And then ended up again in a very different career in military intelligence in what was actually a startup. And my boss later on ended up being the Secretary of Defense. But it just gave me another different view of the world. And then finally got out of what was called the black world and started working for commercial startups and did 8 of those in 21 years and was lucky enough to be around for a couple of IPOs, and then my last one was during the internet bubble and had enough money that I decided to see my children grow up, which was actually pretty important to me.
Yes.
And then I had no idea what I was going to do, but as an entrepreneur, you're always looking to push the envelope, and for me, upon reflection, thank you, the things that seemed to be broken were both how we were thinking about entrepreneurship and how we were teaching entrepreneurship, and, never being afraid to tell anybody else they were wrong. I just said, I'm going to fix these. And those were some pretty bold things to say 12 years ago when, the common wisdom was we do things this way and we teach things this way. And I was lucky enough to kind of come up with some ideas that maybe hadn't been articulated in the way, and here we are. Yeah,
and speaking of education, so this show is about educating entrepreneurs, which brings us to actually a good point that we should talk about. Even today, I feel, people study entrepreneurship in schools, especially, in different countries, and what does that really mean? Do you feel that entrepreneurship can be taught either at a university or school level, or maybe through the one of your channels, or the School of Hard Knocks? How do you feel about that?
That's a great question, and it's one that's been asked for decades. And it was one, I have to tell you, it was a question that bothered me for the first 10 years of teaching. Because all my friends who were practitioners would go, Steve, you're teaching this stuff? You better than anybody should know entrepreneurs are born, right? There's no way you could, teach entrepreneurship. And I've truly, it's